So let's resume with our session. We'll kick them out of our channel also. Okay then. Right. So we saw how we can run up a loop to print this kind of triangle, right? So a star, single star, two stars, three, four, and five. Now here, if I want to print some value over here, right? If I want to print some value in the form of, you may have seen some pattern like where it is printing 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all you need to do is you need to change this value. Instead of printing this, now I want to print 1 in the first line, 1 and 2 in the second line. If I print I, it will change the value. It will not give me 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. It will print 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. It's picking up the row number, right? So take this outer loop as the row number, right? Take this outer loop as the row number. So now you see the row number will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's printing 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. And if I change this value with j, if I change this value with j, it's going to do a different output. See, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So this way you can use your nested loop. Nested loops are very important, right? You cannot skip it. You cannot think of like, oh, this is very tough. Let me skip and I'll not use nested loops. I'll try managing up some other way. Remember, if you are going to skip nested loops, means you are going to skip a lot of part like for from your solutions. You may not be able to solve your problems, right? You have to use a nested loop. Where you have to use nested loop, you cannot use anything else. Okay, else you would have to write like multiple times the loop and the program efficiency will be down. Okay, so this was how to use a nested loop, right? I can add multiple levels of nested loop. I can draw more patterns. I'll send you few programs, right? Like we discussed in our channel that I'm planning, because everything cannot be covered in a 1 hour or 90-minute session, right? So I have to focus on a lot of things, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make small videos like explaining up a problem and then writing up its solution, right? And then I'll share it in the my Telegram channel. So that will help you guys, because programming is like solve more and more problems. The more problems you solve, right, more efficient you are going to be. It's like you should know the solution of n number of problems, and then when a new problem comes, right, you can solve it taking the reference from the previous ones. So it is more like learning the use cases and then implementing those use cases in the new programs, new problems, right? Now if you see all my code, whatever we have done till date was in a single class, right? We wrote a class, we wrote a main method inside that. Now what if I have to write up multiple classes? Because you are not going to write all your code in a single class. Okay. Now, how are we going to write up multiple classes? Let's write up a new file and call it as object demo.java. So here comes the concept of OOPS, right? Object oriented programming structure. So you create a class, you create its object, right? You take an entity, you form its object, right? When I say object, means a living or a non-living entity. For example, a car, a bird, right? A car or a bird, a student. When I say student, student is a blueprint, right? A student is a blueprint. Now, student can be a class. Out of that class, I can put the information, I can put the data into that class, and then I can create a object out of it. So object will be the memory allotted, object will be your data, right? Object is nothing but your memory allotted and the data. Fine. So let's take an example over here. I'm going to take a class called as book. Okay, class called as book. So what does a book look like? What does a book look like? Book has a name, I mean title, book has an author, book has a price, right? So we are not going to do a lot of variables right now. We'll take it very simple, string title. Okay. Now this is a class which is giving me the information about the book, right? This is a class which is giving me the information about a book. I can take another class as student. Okay. Student can have a name, right? But am I talking about a particular student? No, I'm talking about generally. Whenever we write a class, it should be the general information. Okay. You should not write the information like going for writing Alok, writing up another student class Gurman. So this is not programming, right? This is not programming where you go and write up your values as a class. Okay. This is the information that we were supposed to put inside these variables, name, right? So in this case, I will create a class student, right? Sorry, class student. There was a typo error. So class student, and this class student should have a name. So I'm telling the attributes, right? Class will contain the attributes. Class will contain the attributes. Attributes are like features, right? Information about that object. What are the features of that object, of that class? So class student, student has a name, student can have a age. Okay. Now, where is the data? Where is the data? How can I put Alok in the string name? How can I put age 20 inside that age variable? So for that, we would have to use it inside our main application. So object demo, and inside this, I'm going to write public static void main string arguments. Okay. Now, if I write a class, right, it means only a blueprint, right? If I write a class, it's only a blueprint. Like suppose if you have to make a house, you draw a blueprint of that house first. You draw a sketch, right? The architecture draws a sketch that, okay, sir, look, this is like how your house will look. So there is a drawing room, there is a bedroom, there is a kitchen, right? There is a like lobby and all. So all the things would be made inside that drawing sketch, right? But that is not your house. It's only a sketch. That's a blueprint. You cannot live in that sketch. So that is something over here. This is only the sketch of a student and a book. I want to save the information of a student and book, right? But I want to keep them separate. I don't want to put everything like at the same place. I don't want to write string title, string name, double age. So can we identify whom are we talking about? Can we identify if I go everything and I keep it over here? If I keep everything here, can we identify whom are we talking about? Which one is a student's information and which one is the book information? We may not be, right? We may not be able to understand which information is what. We may not be able to understand which information is what. Whose information is this? So for okay. So now are we going good, Alok? I think now we can concentrate. Right. So now if you look at this object demo content, we cannot understand whose information is title, whose information is name, whose information is age, isn't it? Give me a quick yes or no. We don't know whether this title, name, and age, whether this title, name, and age is of book or of a student or of something else. So what can we do? We can tell that, okay, let's draw a blueprint. Let's draw a blueprint of that particular object. So I'll say I have a book, right? Let's put all the information of the book into the book class. So book has a title. I can remove it from here. Okay. And then class student string name double age. So why am I taking up so many number of classes, right? Isn't it like increasing the size of the code? Yes, it is increasing the size of the code. If you are going to create so many number of classes, it is creating up the increasing up the size of the code. So but Remember, size of the code will never be a problem. The maintenance of the code is always going to be a problem. If you try to keep the code size compact, maybe the maintenance will go higher. When I say maintenance, means after 6 months, client says that, okay, I want to add few more things into my features of a student, right? Attributes of a student. Now you have to look around for like hundreds of files. Where have you written variables of a student? So in that case, there can be a big code impact. There can be a chance where you are going to there can be a chance where you are going to impact your code by your changes. So if you correct it, if you write at one file, maybe the other file was missing, so there can be an error. So this way everything will be at a centralized place. Whenever I have to write one more feature for a student, I don't have to go to various files. I'll come to the student class, I'll write, okay, string name, double age, and string, let's say we have to take the email ID of the student, so string email. Okay, so this way now I know that, okay, this is my student, and I have to write up the attributes in this. So that's a better approach, and this approach is called as the object oriented programming structure, where you write the blueprint of your objects, right? And then you use those blueprint, initialize them, allocate the memory. Now how are you going to allocate the memory? So first of all, we'll say, let's write a simple term over here, create object, and we will go in very depth of this. Create object. So when I say create an object, I want to create an object of a student. So student s1 is equal to new student. Okay, remember this object s1, this s1 stands for a name, right? Only a reference, only a reference. S1 is not the name of the student. S1 is only a reference to the new student created. If you read this code, this is very explanatory. Student S1 is equal to new student. So on the RHS, it's saying create a new student. You are telling Java to create a new student, right? So when I say new student, means allocate the memory. Allocate the memory for storing info of new student, right? So you are telling allocate the memory for storing information of new student. So it will allocate some memory to your program, right? Now when the memory is allocated for that data, how will I remember that where is that memory address, right? How can I go to that particular memory location? So this new student returns a memory address, and that address we can save here inside S1. Okay, so that new student is going to return a memory address, and that address will be saved over here. So S1 will not contain name, age, email. S1 will contain a memory address. Let me show it to you. System.out.println. So I print S1. Okay, let's compile this. Java C object demo.java object demo student @ 6 ff3c5b5, right? So what is this? This is a reference, right? This is a reference. Got it? This is a reference of the memory allotted. Okay, when I say reference, that doesn't mean that exact address. Sometimes we say, okay, go to that 595 comma street number 1 comma abc area. That's the exact address, right? Sometimes we say, okay, go to that place nearby of this, right? We give a reference of some other place. That's not an exact address, right? Just a easy understanding logic. So reference is something which you cannot define as a physical address, right? A relative kind of address. So that is what given over here, right? Java may be hiding up the actual address of the memory, so they are giving you the reference. So this reference is student @ 6ff. Now using this I can access the value of name, age, and email. I can save and I can get the values, right? So you cannot write this physically. I have to use every time S1. So I'll say S1 dot name is equal to let's put a name over here, John Doe. Okay, now if you see, I am not writing name directly. Why? Because it is in a different class. When the properties are in a different class, right? When the properties are in a different class, you have to create an object. You have to create an object and use the reference of that object to write its name. So this is wrong. Name is equal to John Doe. I have to tell s1 dot name. So what I said is when the variables are in a different class, right? You have to access them using the object. There are more methods. We'll see it one by one, right? Don't get confused if someone is saying, no, this is the wrong approach. This is the right approach. There are a different type of variable which are called as static variables. We don't need objects to call them, right? But first we'll understand what is a static and then we'll go into the depth of that. So we'll go step by step. So this is the object case. So I have a class, right? I have a class and I want to access this variable inside other class. So the first thing I have to do is I have to make an object. Don't get confused that the objects can only be created in the main method. No, objects can be created anywhere. I can create an object here also. Student, student is equal to new student, right? But not a good approach. We'll talk about this. So your object creation is not only limited to the main method, it can be created anywhere in the program. So right now, we are a newbie, so I want to write it simple. I created it in my main method. So student s1 is equal to new student, right? One student is created, only one. So it is very similar to that. Java has allotted some memory, right? So Java may, suppose if this was the computer memory, so Java may have allotted some memory to you that, okay, save your name here, right? And then age here, okay, and then email here. Fine. So we have to discuss up a lot of terms. We'll see instance, we will see instance variables, we will see the local variables, we'll see the reference variables, right? So all these terms we have to understand. This is just an introductory part. I'm hiding up a lot of things. I'm not discussing right now, but we will discuss it later, right? So student S1, I have a student S1. So when I say a student S1, means it will allot some memory. Now here you go and write student s2 is equal to new student, right? Student s2 is equal to new student. So when I write s2 is equal to new student, so that means here I'll go for another object, right? So a new object has been created. So now s2 dot, now when I say s2 dot name, that means now I have two objects. So s1 will set the value inside this object, s2 will set the value in this object. Got it? So now we have two objects for two student. So objects are nothing but the memory allotment, right? Objects are the memory allotment. Memory allotted to save your data, right? To store your data. Some data has to be stored. Fine. So here S1 will store the information in this. S2 is going to store the information in this. They both will have a different reference which will be stored in the respective variables S1 and S2. Okay. Right. Guys, I'll stop it over here for today. A bit of like lack of concentration due to that event, whatever happened in our session today. We will connect tomorrow, right? In the Zoom itself, or even if you like, we can try once in the YouTube. Uh, right. So I think Zoom can be good because I have already added up enough security. Now no one can write on the annotated form of like on my screen. Second, no one can jump into a direct messages with one another, right? Only if any direct message will come, that will come to me. Okay. So right, we'll stop it over here. Bit of lack of concentration for all today. Whatever happened, sorry for that. So next time I'll take care of this all secure things, right? So let's meet in tomorrow's session, tomorrow 10 a.m. IST. Fine. Thank you everyone. Meet you in the next session. Bye.